them to homes and other facilities. It's a move that's been long expected, but it's still heart-wrenching for their families.
How would you like to have somebody come in your house and take your kids away from you and move them anywhere they want to? This is Germany.
Diane Rana and several other parents of Western Center residents are kept away from their loved ones by state police, who will stay here until all the residents are transferred out.
I feel really bad because I think I could help calm her down. I'd like to give her a hug.
Laura Mooney's sister, Susan, a resident here since 1972, managed to leave her building and hit State Police Corporal Daniel Klein, knocking his glasses off.
It'll be his decision, but we'll be evaluating whether or not it's something that we want to arrest her for. Realistically, we're not here to put these folks in jail. We're just here to...
Marr calls for an emergency meeting of a special task force on mental retardation to, quote, secure commitments about guaranteeing a full range of options for these individuals and their families. Using a back road out of this place to take them to their new locations. Now, parents gather at the main road to their loved ones' residences, hoping to wave as they go by, but state police prevent them from going past this point on the road. Center officials say they want no disruptions, so they use a back road to transport the residents in vans, further upsetting their families.
I want her. I don't want her separated. She's been here 20 years. It'll kill her.
Double talk. When you asked him, did anybody sign, he talked around it. You see that? They know how to do that.
But do you think they were lying?
Yes.
Son, when she fell down a flight of cement stairs. She had just attended a briefing in the center's administration building. Klaus suffered a head injury and was taken to Canonsburg Memorial Hospital. And keep it here on Channel 11 for continuing live coverage of the Western Center move. We'll have new details tonight, first at 5. There are no moving trucks or suitcases to be seen, but there are plenty of protesters and police on moving day at Western Center.
Live Team 11 coverage tonight, first at 5 on this major local story.
The battle over Western Center began 11 years ago, and tonight nearly every patient has been moved with the exception of 12 who are still waging a war in court. We have the story from protesters outside to the families who are suffering tonight. We start with Channel 11's Stuart Brown, who is live with the mobile newsroom. Stu?
Peggy, 44 longtime Western Center residents are now gone from here, leaving behind angry family members who feel helpless and hopeless.
They're going to take them from here, and they're going to take them up into the mountains, 2 hours away from their families. And then they're going to, and then they're going to put them in a group home. Now, is this humane?
Like other relatives waiting at a state police roadblock, Jim Mooney waits in vain to see his sister-in-law depart Western Center. Vans go into the center to pick up 46 longtime residents who will be taken, two in a van, to group homes and other facilities as far away as Erie.
The next black van hearse is what I call it. It pulls out of here probably. We'll have Richard. We won't know because they won't tell us.
To avoid any confrontations, some are transported from their residence over a back road that leads to nearby South Point, where state police open a gate to let the vehicles through out of view of families.
Involved in his move. Channel 11's Darius Chisholm is in Canonsburg with that part of the story. Darius?
Yeah, Pete Dimchak spent about 40 years traveling the highway, 40 miles, coming here to see his son at the Western Center. That was routine for him, but now that routine is in jeopardy as his son is being moved all the way to Cambria County. For 34 years, it's been the same routine for Pete Dimchak. Every Sunday and one Thursday a month, he made the 38-mile journey to see his son here at Western Center. Now he waits in the cold to catch a glimpse of his son in a van on moving day.
Hey, that's my son.
His son, Max, now 48 years old, has been in Western Center for 34 years, since he was 14.
He's autistic, and it took him years to become accustomed to the place.
No, it's better than home for him. He loves it here.
For an autistic person, routine, sameness is essential. Anything different can be disruptive, even dangerous.
Do you think your son understands what's going on?
No, he don't. He don't. The only thing he does understands is what's right there with him. Every time Sunday comes around, he knows he wants Daddy and Mommy to come. He wants cherry pie.
After this move, those visits for Max will probably stop. His new home in Cambria County is too far away.
Evansburg, I don't know, it's probably 100 miles from here. I don't know if we'll ever be able to make it. I'm not a kid anymore, 76. I can't drive that much. I'm getting to have trouble driving here.
And helpless.
Chrissy's autistic, and she can't even speak for herself. And this is the worst part of it. I can't even be there with her.
Mooney expects it won't get better.
The situation, I don't think she's going to be calming down for a long time.
You think she'll do the same thing when they try and move her tomorrow?
I wouldn't be surprised. She'll probably be like this for several days.
Actually began back in 1992. That year, a settlement agreement ordered by the U.S. District Court called for moving the center's residents into the community if they chose to. 6 years later, in 1998, the Pennsylvania State Welfare Department decided to close Western Center for good. Within a month, 229 patients had left the facility. 133 remained behind. Then, in June of 1999, a closing date set by Governor Ridge was delayed indefinitely. The governor's new deadline to move the remaining patients was set for December 31st. And then, just last month, parents petitioned a judge to review the status of the patients still at Western. The judge refused, and parents filed an appeal just yesterday, one day before today's closing was announced.
One Western Center resident got out and got angry when police stood between her and her sister.
That's why she doesn't live in a community! Don't you dare touch me! Don't you dare! Don't you do anything to my sister! Get the hell out of here! Get the hell out of here! No! 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 You can't arrest her!
Cops cuffed Susan Riley and threatened more.
Ma'am, you're going to be the next one to
Can I go with her?
I'm asking you to leave.
Can I go with her?
Other relatives worried about their children they couldn't see. Police blocked off the residents' quarters and posted no trespassing signs all over the grounds.
I think it's horrible. I think that there's such a thing as being humane in this society, and this is what you call humane.
Got official notice in a letter just this morning. They're trying to get an emergency injunction to keep their children at Western Center.
We're supposed to be guardians. We're supposed to be parents. We went through court to protect ourselves and our kids, and this is what they do.
With the little brain power that he has left, it's gonna, you know what, it's gonna kill him. No doubt about it in my mind.
10 of the residents will stay until a judge decides what will happen with their situation. And we at Channel 4 were the first ones here this morning, learned even before the parents got their letters and their calls this morning about the residents being moved out. But these families plan to be here all night and into the morning as their loved ones are moved into special facilities for the mentally handicapped and into group homes throughout the community. Reporting live in Washington County, I'm Christine Sorensen, Channel 4 Action News. Back to you.
Okay, Christine, and 3 council approved court action to stop Gertrude Barber Center from opening up a group home without first getting township approval. The Barber Center has applied for an application with the State Department of Health to open up a facility. Some residents are worried, though, about the possibility of housing residents from the Western Center there.
And saga, it happened at a roadblock set by police at the entrance to the facility. The state is closing the Western Center and moving the 56 mentally challenged residents into group homes. This morning, relatives received letters informing them the residents would be moved tomorrow morning. Good evening, I'm Jay Harris.
And I'm Lisa Beatty. Sheila Highland has the night off.
First up tonight, state officials say they are keeping the residents isolated to make the move from Western Center as smooth as possible. The move has always been an emotional time bomb, and as Ari Height tells us today, that bomb exploded.
Police were prepared to keep relatives out. They didn't know their problem would come from within. A resident, Susan Mooney, came down demanding they allow her to see her sister, Laura.
That's why she doesn't live in a community! What are you going to do to my sister? You! This is the way she is in the community. That's why she can't live in the community. And you're going to take her away.
Listen, we're going to ask you.
What are you going to do, arrest her?
We're going to ask you for license.
No, you won't. Don't you dare touch me! Don't you dare! Don't you do anything to my sister! Get the hell out of here, Susan!
Susan was arrested.
I can't believe you're doing this! I am going to sue everyone, you bastard!
It's so hard to see her like that and not be able to comfort her.
Very hard. Very, very hard. You know, she's right there and I can't even hug her.
More police officers were brought in to restore order. Western Center administrators also responded. Susan was kept handcuffed in the back of the cruiser for about 20 minutes, but she wasn't charged.
We get paid to make arrests. A lot of times people don't understand, if they, in this case, whether they knew or not, what they were doing. It's really not something that we look forward to doing. You know, by the same token, we can't be assaulted either.
Residents blame the incident on tension caused by the move and compounded by the fact the state will not allow them to see their relatives.
How would you like me to go in and say, here, I'm taking your kid? You can't come. It's amazing. It's Nazi Germany. Exactly.
The relatives say they will continue to try to stop this move through the legal system, through the courthouse. But if that doesn't work, they will be here tomorrow morning when their relatives are scheduled to be moved. The state troopers will more than likely be here tomorrow morning also. Both sides hoping to avoid today's ugly situation. In Washington County, Ari Height, Fox 53, 10 o'clock news.
The problems with Western Center started a decade ago with a class action lawsuit alleging abuse at the facility. A 1992 settlement agreement called for residents to be evaluated and perhaps relocated.
Since 1967, now his family is on the front lines of the fight for individual evaluations before anyone is placed in another institution or group home. Turiski contends that has not been done, and that DPW is jumping ahead with plans while two key motions are pending.
Rather than wait for the court to rule on either of those motions, DPW has gone ahead in an obvious attempt to circumvent and render moot our entire appeal as well as our application for stay by simply outplacing all of these people.
We have obtained a list of where residents are headed before they're transferred to group homes. 21 will go to Evansburg State Center. Others will be placed at the Gertrude Barber Center in Erie and Allegheny Valley School in Coriopolis. Some will go straight to group homes. Families worry their loved ones won't get comprehensive care and medical attention.
Home where 48 people live to one where 4 people live. The 4 people coming to the McGuire home will come 5 days a week here to the main campus. Patients going to other group homes might not be as lucky, though. And workers at other group homes also may not have the 37 years experience many at the McGuire home do in caring for the retarded. Even though all group homes will have to meet certain state standards, parents still worry no one will be around to enforce those standards.
They're protected under state law. If they're in a facility like this, once they're out in their own, they don't do nothing for them.
Now, today, a judge denied the family's request for an injunction to stop the move of the retarded citizens and the closing of West.
So all family members could do was watch and wait helplessly. The Department of Welfare avoided any confrontations by using a back road. One by one, the vans left, carrying more than 40 residents to their new homes. Last move for days, but families still worried about the emotional toll on their loved ones, many leaving the only home they've ever known.
I would say that this is going to be a major trauma in her life. I can't imagine that it would be otherwise. Since she doesn't talk, she can't tell me that.
Joan Connor's 63-year-old sister has the mind of a toddler. She was transferred to a group home in Beaver County.
Where is the independent monitoring of that staff? Where is somebody to come in from the outside who is not involved financially or any other way with the running of the program? Who's going to say that things are up to the level they should be up to?
Families were encouraged to visit the group homes to assist in the transition. The transfers may be over, but not the legal fight. The parents group opposed to the closure vows to carry on.
We've yet to have a judge sit and allow us to present evidence about why it is unsafe for these people to be forced into placements. We have the death list, we have the abuse list, the rape list, the abandonment list, and we want to present that to a judge who, once it's seen in court, we know we will get a reversal.
Now, some 220 employees here at Western Center are also affected by this closure. Most of them are losing their jobs. Some may find positions at other facilities. A dozen residents still remain here. They weren't moved today because of legal issues. Once those are resolved, though, the state is hoping to have this place finally closed for good by the end of the month. Ken?
Andy, once that happens, what about the building and the grounds? What are the plans for the physical structure out there?
Yeah, the buildings and grounds will be turned over to the State Department of General Services, who will begin marketing the property. There's been speculation that it may become part of South Point, Washington County's huge business park, which is right next door. And we've heard talk of the building behind me, the historic administration building, being converted into a community college.
All right, Andy Briggs in Washington County, thanks. The legal wrangling over moving patients continued in a downtown courtroom this morning. Lawyers for residents who are involuntarily committed to the center argue that state law requires a hearing before they can be moved. They met with Judge Paul Zavarella hoping to resolve the issue, but they had no luck.
The state not only is rushing this, but they obviously have planned this for a long period of time, sprung it on the families and the residents there with the direct intent to prevent us from doing anything. There's no other explanation as to why they went about this way.
The State Department of Welfare argued that the closure of Western Center makes that a moot point.
Hearings on those who were involuntarily committed will be held later. In the meantime, though, they will remain at Western Center. Of the 44 that are being moved today, half are going to 6 different group homes. The others are going to live temporarily at 3 larger facilities until their group homes are ready.
The vans pulled out, and while emotions ran high, the protests were peaceful. Western Center has been slated to close for years, but court battles kept it open. Today, for residents, the battle was lost. Ari Height has the story.
Bunch of hearses coming in after our kids.
The vans arrived just before 9 o'clock this morning, greeted by relatives, carrying signs expressing their anger.
This is like taking him to his death, to me. He's going to die.
Their anger compounded by the fact they weren't even allowed to see their loved ones before the move.
Very hard.
Very hard, yeah.
I have a son here, and he's 49, and he's profoundly retarded. Terrible.
Relatives even packed a center press briefing, furious with what was being said.
Oh, you liar.
You liar. Why can't you answer our questions?
Those 3 people are the whores that want to take our children out of here.
Hitler did, they probably would. I really and truly mean that.
Parents gathered at the Exeter Western Center hoping to at least get a glimpse of their relatives as they were moved out, but they were denied even that, as administration here chose to take the patients out the back way.
That's just one of their tricks. I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but we should have thought about it.
It's typical of the Department of Welfare. They're sneaky, they're nasty, they're underhanded. They've lied to us all these years. We expected it.
Administrators say the back road exit was only another attempt to make the move easier. Most residents are in their new homes tonight. Relatives will have to wait until tomorrow to see them. In Washington County, Ari Height, Fox 53, 10 o'clock news.
12 residents remain at Western Center tonight pending individual litigation. 40 staff members will stay on to care for them. The other 180 staff members will help prepare Western Center for closing and receive benefits counseling. Meanwhile, the patients are in new beds. One's belongings. This is just one of a number of facilities taking in former Western Center residents. It was an emotional day earlier at the center in Washington County as 40 residents moved out. State troopers blocked the access road so the Department of Welfare could avoid confrontations by using a back road to remove residents. Family members were kept at a distance. Many worry about the emotional toll the state-mandated move is going to have on their sons, daughters, brothers, and sisters.
I would say that this is going to be a major trauma in her life. I can't imagine that it would be otherwise. Since she doesn't talk, she can't tell me that.
Meantime,